We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig.
I did. Oh, wow. Right on the tip. Just on the tip.
And Blabs. Co-hosted by our friends from around the internet.
There is a portion of Norway where it is legally required to carry a firearm at all times.
If you're just a normal man looking for common sense in this crazy-ass world, you've come to the right place. And now, broadcasting from our homes from around the internet, it's time for Side Scrollers. Oh, welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and SidescrollersPodcast.com. What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday to you, man. You're almost there. Over that hump. Coasting on into that Friday. Good to see you guys. I'm Stuttering Craig. We got a good one today. We got a lot to talk about. Man, huge run sheet. Ready to go. Blabs, how are you?
I'm good. Hello. It's Thursday.
You look so proper without your bucket hat.
Well, I could do this, and then I'll be like, yo.
You look like Elliot from E.T.
Ouch.
Ouch. Ouch.
Doesn't he do that? He goes, ouch, like when he gets hurt.
I don't know.
I swear he does that. He's like, ouch.
Well, look, we got a great show. Lots going on. We got a great guest today, and I'm happy to bring him in. It's been a while since he's been on, but I'm talking, listen, not just the greatest YouTuber of all time. A man who will not acknowledge D-Day Cobra, which I absolutely love. The author of the art of N64 wrestling games. Everybody, it's RGT85.
I'm pretty sure it was Elliot.
I thought it was also ouch, too. Like when he gets hurt and he's like, ouch.
It might have. It's been a long time since I've
it's
seen
been
that movie.
like 20 years since I watched the movie. I'm not a big fan of it.
It's kind of traumatic at parts and
Yes.
stuff. Like you gotta imagine that like that's kind of why Drew Barrymore ended up the way she did, like kind of weird. Because like that movie, she was like mad young in that movie. They had her doing weird stuff.
Oh man, maybe it was E.T. or maybe it was just the exposure to Hollywood life in general. But yeah, she got pretty messed up. I was at Universal Studios a couple weeks ago for a family vacation, and we rode the E.T. ride. And I'll tell you this: that's it's one of the last original Universal Studio rides that I think still exists. They got rid of the Back to the Future one. They got rid of Jaws. They got rid of the back lot tour and all that stuff. But E.T. is still there, and it's definitely shown its age. But my kids have never seen E.T. Like they know about E.T. on the periphery,
Right.
But going through that ride, like they were invested in what was going on with E.T. in that ride. They were like, okay, we got to save the bad guys are coming to get E.T. And you know who the bad guy is in that? The government.
Yep.
The government. That's right.
Yep.
Little social
Based
commentary.
E.T. movie.
That's right.
I miss the old Universal, man. Like that was you had Back to the Future, Jaws, E.T. and even like because the last time I went, I think I was like 18. And so they still had that stuff. They still had like the Terminator show as well, which was awesome. But they also started to have stuff like the Spider-Man ride. So it was like you got the best of both worlds. And then, I guess time goes on. People like different things and, you get what you get.
Fucking people. It's ridiculous. I'll tell you one thing about Universal Studios, though. Their merchandise game is on point right now. Check out the merchandise over at, I took a picture of this. They got the classic logo right there. That's pretty good stuff. They got one more here, which I got to be honest, RGT, I would love to see you sporting this bad boy. Look at that.
Oh, that's clean.
That is. I was like, man, it was only $80.
Ridiculous, though. Some of their prices are outrageous. It's unfair.
Did you ever do the I have a memory of this, and I'm sure my grandmother still has the VHS tape, but like where you're on a green screen at Universal Studios doing like I remember like Earthquake was one of the things and King Kong. Oh, that's another King Kong. They got rid of King Kong.
Right. And now And now you can just do like things like this and just like pop your background in like on like for
Right.
out of nowhere. You just kind of can do that so easily. It's like that green screen technology was like, whoa, I'm in space. It's amazing. Well, look, we got a great show for everybody. Glad you guys are here. Do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button. We are live over at rumble.com/sidestrollers. If you follow us over on X, you could have found out that RGT was going to be on the show today. Just follow us over there at SidescrollerPod. We also have that Instagram account, don't we, Blabs?
We do, so follow some memes and clips of the show. Otherwise, some sort of violence upon you and your ET.
Blaz will murder ET. That's good. You can also watch the show over on Apple Podcast and Spotify, which I got up at a reasonable time yesterday, and I plan on doing that again today, hopefully.
Do I have to remind you again? Is that why?
Yes, every single day.
Okay. I literally wrote, just for context, chat. I literally texted him yesterday, SPOTIFY, all spaced out like Spotify.
That's right. Get it up there, big daddy. We also have that sidescrollerspodcast.com, where if you guys enjoy the show, please head over there, consider becoming a supporter over there. We greatly appreciate that. We're going to be doing a lot of big stuff up there in 2025. Of course, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Join the 110,000 just normal men who have found common sense in the video game and entertainment space. And let's do our best to get to our 1,337 thumbs up today for our show. Let's do it. A big day today, as tonight, the Real Game Awards opens up voting for the award show. Now, RGT, I saw your video about why you're not going to be watching Jeff's award show today. And I was very inspired by it. Very inspired by it.
Yeah, I'm very Jeffed out. Like, it's just too much. Like, he shows up at everything, and it's almost like it's kind of mean to say, but it's almost like a parasite sort of thing. The amazing thing is, though, after all the things I said about that man, he still follows me. MVG saw him a couple of months ago at something, and he mentioned me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I like that guy. He's kind of crazy." He says whatever. It's like, all right. And I think Jeff probably somewhere deep inside genuinely likes people to be like, hey, maybe that's not the best idea, because I feel like he's probably, all the people that are surrounding him that get these jobs with him and stuff like that, they're probably afraid to question anything, because it's like, well, I don't want to, not be a part of this or something like that, because it is a big thing for what it is. So he's an interesting guy. Like, I don't hate the guy.
No,
it's just clearly it's his show in his vision, and there's no sort of, counterbalance to that.
So can I tell you something that we're going to do that I was literally inspired by you to do? I was on the treadmill this morning, or the elliptical machine this morning, and I was watching you talk about Jeff's award show, and I had a holy shit moment while watching your video. And I was going to save this for tonight, because we are going to be doing a Jeff watching show tonight here on the channel, which, by the way, we got a bunch of great folks for that. Flash is going to be on. Kirsch is going to be joining us, as well as a number of other folks are going to be joining us tonight as we do that. We're going to have deals for you so you can become voting members. But let me tell you why I was inspired by you. It's too late for this year, but next year for the Real Game Awards, what we're going to do is, this year is going to be a pre-recorded show. And the big thing is let's just do it and do it right. Next year, we're doing it live, and we're going to do it in a venue. The way I was inspired by you was, next year, what I would like to do is take the winner of each category, because you said something. You're like, how can this indie game how can you have all these indie titles, and one of the indie titles that's in this best indie title is also nominated for Game of the Year, right? So you clearly have a favorite, or one that you've already said is the best. So if it doesn't win best indie title, then how is it also nominated for Game of the Year, right?
Right.
So what I want to do next year, since we're going to be doing it in real time, is we'll have a lot of the main awards, like the top 8, whether it's best action game, best RPG, best MMO, whatever. And then the second half of the show, we'll open up voting in real time in a battle royale tournament between those 8, and that will determine what the true Game of the Year is. So we'll have the winner for best action, winner for best MMO, winner for best whatever, and we'll put them all in a poll in real time, and people can vote only after those winners are announced. I don't know, what's your thoughts on that?
Big undertaking, but if you can get it to work, I think that would be cool, because like I said in the video, it's just if it's either completely telegraphed so that it makes sense, so that Balatro wins both debut indie and best indie, or it makes no sense that another game like Animal Well can win one of those awards, but then isn't nominated for Game of the Year, because you just said that Animal Well was the best indie, yet Balatro was the best game. So, you know, it's tough to figure all that stuff out, but I think if you actually stop, because you got to imagine, like, this dude, he's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. You know, you just did the Gamescom opening night live stuff. You have the awards, but then you also have advertisers, and you also have, you know, premieres and stuff like that. So I don't think that they actually like thought of that as a thing. Like, you know, maybe that doesn't make all of the sense in the world. But then again, you got the whole Elden Ring DLC situation. You have the fact that this show happens in December when it should happen in January, but obviously there's monetary reasons for that, you know, call a spade a spade. So I don't know. I just to me, I need less Jeff. And I also think people need to stop like putting so much stock into this show. You know, like, I get it if you like it for the premieres and stuff like that, or you want to see wacky celebrities or something like that, which I'll never understand that. But I think, you know, it shouldn't. I think some people, like, it diminishes maybe their experience of a game if it doesn't get nominated, or, you know, this, that, or the other. So, you know, to counter that with a show like you're planning, you know, like you're doing, you know, in the same breath, it's tough because there's a lot of different moving parts with it that are going on. But if you can get it to work,
that's why we want to do this one the first time and just get it out the door, make sure we do it right, make it as good as possible. But I said this last night, like, we're not going to have like exclusive trailers. We're not going to have like dick writing developers. We're not even going to have thank you speeches in our award show. It's strictly about the awards.
Right.
You know?
It's an award show.
Right. It's an award show that is built around the gamer as opposed to the industry. And it's just meant to be an alternative, you know? So anyways, we'll be watching Jeff's award show tonight. Make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be a fun experience for sure. So look, we got a lot to get to today. And some wonderful support right off the bat. But before we do, let's get to today in video game history.
Okay, this is a bit special. December 12th, everybody, is Mortal Kombat Advance, released in 2001. We have the PlayStation Portable, released in 2005. And guys, there's a game called Granny on mobile, and it was released in 2017. And I gotta say, it looks pretty awesome. So that's why I had a... Yeah. That's
Blabs.
What?
Blabs. You can talk about Granny all you want. Other noticeable Other noticeable games that you missed today include Clock Tower 3 for the PlayStation 2, and I can't believe you didn't include this one on the list. Donkey Konga for the GameCube was released 21 years ago. RGT smile, and he knows what's up.
Well, listen, Clock Tower is actually released like tomorrow in Japan, so...
Okay. Sounds good. Also, one of the biggest games ever made, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, was released 7 years ago for the Xbox One, so there's that. And another big hit for the PC in 2017, They Are Billions. Remember that game, RGT? Do you ever remember hearing about that game? They Are Billions?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. Well, I guarantee you've heard about this one. Releasing today for the Nintendo Switch, Real Hentai 4.
Ah, thank God. 3 was such a banger. I was waiting for 4.
Just waited with bated breath, huh?
Bro, they release like 7 of those games a week. Like, if you ever look at the eShop, and what they do is they'll do like collections. Like, if they don't have a new one to release, they'll be like best of Real Hentai 1, 2, and 4 collect. It's like, what? Please stop this, please.
And how many of those have you played?
None. I am not like, people automatically think because I like video games that I like anime and stuff like that. And like, no, I don't watch anime. I don't care about hentai stuff. Like, I'll go to a strip club if you know, my $20 at a strip club probably go a little bit farther than it would with the video game. I'm just saying.
Just morbid curiosity. When was the last time you were in a strip club?
It's been a while. It's been a
Okay.
while.
I went to one like in my, I think the last one I was in was in like my early 20s, and I remember going in and being like, I felt like that lady who got slept with by 100 guys in like 12 hours or whatever it was. Do you see that story?
Yeah, I did.
I just felt like, ugh, which I know a lot of people have been asking, and by a lot I mean nobody, been asking about when we're going to talk about that. We'll be talking about that tomorrow with Vera Dark. We need to hear her thoughts on all that. With that said, guys, thank you so much. Nathan came in right off the bat with the $9.99. Says, finished watching Secret Level last night. A mixed bag of a series ranging from pandering cringe to downright awesome. I really enjoyed the Sifu Unreal Tournament 40K and Armored Core episodes. Have you watched any of Secret Level, RGT?
I have no idea what that is.
It's an Amazon series that's
where they do based on video game franchises. Yeah, that's another thing that I don't really get down with, like the Last of Us show and stuff like that. It's like, I know the story of this. I played the games, and if you change something in the story for better or worse, I'm still going to be annoyed because you've changed it. So like, it's cool. If something was like really up my alley, like a Metal Gear Solid episode, maybe I'd entertain it, but video games are good enough for me.
B Chain came in and says, just a hunch, but Barrymore getting passed around by her mom at drug-fueled sex parties before she could get a driver's license probably didn't help. Let's go wood chippers for Hollywood. All right, B Chain, thanks for that wonderful thought. Dan came in and says, yeah, my dad told me he went to Universal Studios in Florida by himself a year ago. It really sucks now. He really likes the Twister, the Jaws ride, and Earthquake. I'm the same way too. Yeah, those don't exist anymore. None of those rides exist.
Twister was fun.
Yeah,
when you had like the 100-mile winds like coming at you and it's like raining on you and stuff.
They replaced it with a Jimmy Fallon ride. So
there's still a Jaws ride at USJ though. That one's really cool because it's like you're on a boat and you go around and the animatronics jump out of the water. Like it's pretty cool.
When you say USJ, you're speaking of Universal Studios Japan?
Japan, yeah, USJ.
I'm not in with your elite lingo here.
Sorry, boomer.
All right. But yes, because everyone knows. Okay, whatever. And Pause came and says, "Hey, Blabs, I was watching the VOD from 7 days ago with Arch, and your chit chat about cloaks poked me to venture off looking for my own, and I found me some awesome gothic ones.
Yay!
Thanks for that, dear.
Join the cloak companionship.
Are we starting a club over here?
Yeah, you
Okay,
can't sit
great.
with us. You don't like cloaks.
No, I enjoy the hoodie like
RGT,
RGT.
do you like cloaks?
No.
Oh no.
Look what RGT's wearing right now. You
It's
tell me
true,
that he looks
he's
like
wearing
somebody
a
who wears a cloak. I'm just saying, like, all right. And also, Blabs, Aramis came in with a $100 RGT. Check this out. Direct donation. Look at that, RGT.
He's at
Don't
the
need to go.
club already.
Don't need to go to the club now.
Right.
Says Merry Christmas. I've been blessed this year having found side scrollers. Craig, thank you for spearheading this. Blabs, although you're a Potterhead and I'm a Tolkien geek, I know we'll have something special someday. Cheers to the Real Game Awards soon. Aramis, don't make it weird.
Don't make it weird, man. Thank you.
But thank you so much for that wonderful support. Also,
did you notice Craig when RGT was watching the $100 dono? He was bobbing his head to the beat of the boobs moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that.
how can you not? I'm just saying.
It's the rhythm.
It's the rhythm of the night right there. E.T. got stranded on Girth came in with the 10. So it's just some normal, innocent support for some normal, innocent men. I'm looking forward to the Real Game Awards. If you end up not being able to call it that because Jeff Keighley's insecurities, I'd recommend the Real Gamers Awards. Oh, listen, we're prepared. We're prepared if the Jeff Hammer comes down. But thank you very much. Appreciate that. And voting does begin tonight at 6:30. Oddly enough, the same time that Jeff's award show starts. What do you know? But we'll see you guys tonight for that watching party. Hey, before we get into hard news, RGT, please tell me a little bit about your new book. I want to hear about this.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I was just bored one day, and I was like, this might be kind of a cool thing to do because, people love the N64 wrestling games. There's, arguably some of the best. So and I'm very familiar with all of them from both childhood and adulthood. And then there's so many different, projects out there, modding projects, texture projects. I was like, it'd be cool to write a little book about it. So I just kind of did it. Reached out to a few wrestlers that were in the games to kind of have their thoughts or, their sort of memories about being in there. Did some interviews with some of the people that do like the new projects, keeping the games alive and stuff like that. Just kind of a history of those games and, my memories almost like then and now combined. And yeah, I think it came out pretty good. People seem to like it.
That's awesome, man. What wrestlers did you reach out to?
I've got Stevie Richards, the Blue Meanie, and X-Pac in the book.
Oh, cool. That's nice. I was gonna say going with the BWO until you got to Xbox, right?
Right.
All right. So you guys put a link to the art of the N64 wrestling games in the chat. Looks like $20 for paperback. Nice.
Yep.
Cool. Good stuff. You guys go pick it up, and when you see RGT out and about, he'll certainly sign it for you.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Let's get into this today, man. We got a lot to talk about. So it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for Hard News. Hard News. All right. Everybody loves a good crossover when it comes to McDonald's, and McDonald's is known for crossovers. Right at the bat, Blabs said, "Hey, we got some breaking news, and this is this is really important news you got to know about." But McDonald's is crossing over with Squid Game, which should be fun. Did you watch the first Squid Game? No? Okay,
no, I didn't.
This will mean absolutely nothing to you. Awesome. It's a fun series. I've actually started to rewatch it, but in it, the one thing that's interesting about this is that it includes this, and what this represents is there's a game where it's like a honeycomb kind of thing. It's like a honey cookie, I guess. And there's an outline of various things, a triangle, a circle, a square. And you have to essentially get the whatever's printed on the inside out of it without breaking the design. And that's how people get offed. So they've done that with McDonald's, and that's actually kind of a cool crossover right there. So, and it's a $100,000 challenge as well. So that's pretty damn cool. If you do, I don't really know how it works. Blabs, do you have any information about how this works with $100,000?
No, I wasn't able to read it yet. I saw it right before we went live, like 2 minutes. It's like, look, Squid Game.
All right. So it's a 10-piece McDonald's, a large fry, and a large or medium French fries, and a drink. And they're going to get a limited time Korean barbecue dipping sauce. I hate when they do that. Like, if you're going to do something limited time, I just want it all the time.
But then it doesn't
McRib.
make it exclusive.
Are you a McRib guy?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And you like that all that meat just jammed together to look like a rib?
And it's weird because I hate onions on things, but I need the onions on the McRib. Like, I will go out of my way to make sure there's no onions on everything else except the McRib. Extra pickle, too.
Extra pickle, huh? Blabs, you ever had a McRib before?
Ew.
All right. Hey, new poll. McRib, yes or no?
Okay.
Throw it up. Let's see what the normal men think about this. Okay, so the $100,000 challenge right here says to qualify, customers can go to My Macca's app and scan their candy. When the shape is fully carved out, those who succeed will be entered into a drawing to win an exclusive McDonald's Squid Game green player tracksuit or $100,000. Which one would you rather have, RGT? The Squid Game green player tracksuit or $100,000?
Here's the thing. And also, I need you to read that next paragraph and look at the name of the marketing director.
Sure.
What the hell is that?
Marketing director of McDonald's Australia,
What?
Amanda Naked. I could Google this, but I don't think it'd be a very good idea to Google Amanda Naked.
I think my thing is, Squid Games does. I know it's very popular and has a huge following, and if that's like a one-of-one thing, people might be willing to pay a lot of money for that Squid Games outfit. So the easy answer is the 100K, but I would definitely look at, the Squid Games memorabilia market and see how that is, because something like that could end up being, worth a lot of money. People and their money are easily departed. Look at the Wizard of Oz slippers, I think sold for like 32 million. It's like,
what?
No, I thought it was 32,000.
Big difference between the two, but either way,
I think it was. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Do some digging, Blabs.
But I agree with RGT. That was my thoughts too. That like look up how much the tracksuit is actually worth, because then you could just flip it and make a shit ton of more money.
Yeah, especially if you got like a like a logo of authenticity or something like that. Like, think about the like those gold PlayStations that they did at Taco Bell and stuff like that. The resale on those was crazy high.
All right, so it was 28 million.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There was a giant like heritage auction a couple of days ago, and they were selling tons of merch from all sorts of IPs, from Harry Potter to the Wizards of Oz, and the shoes sold for like $28 million.
That I think heritage auctions, first off, I do not like them. We saw them at too many games, and Spawnwave was like, "Oh, let's take a picture." And so, of course, I flicked off a picture while we were standing in front of it, because I'm not a big fan of grading of video games and stuff like that. But like, that has to be money laundering, right? Like that's insane, dude.
People don't realize the money that's made from those auction houses. They're making it on both sides. They're playing both sides. So you pay a premium when you buy it, an extra, whatever, 15-20%. Then on top of that, the seller also pays a percentage as well. So they're the true winners in any auction, is this auction house. And like, what are they truly doing? Just organizing it, just getting it all together. That's all they're doing. Hiring a guy to go 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and that's about it. Did you hear the story about these shoes though? How like they were stolen in 2005? No, I have
not. Yeah, okay, let me just read this to you guys real fast. So, sparkly red heels were on display at Judy Garland Museum in the actor's hometown of Grand Rapids, Minnesota in 2005, when Terry John Martin used a hammer to smash the glass of the museum's door and display case. The whereabouts about the shoes were uncovered by the FBI in 2018, so over a decade later, and the person, who was now 77, was pleaded guilty in 2023, and he was in a wheelchair and on supplementary oxygen when he was sentenced last January to serve time because of his poor health. Wild!
All right.
The shoes were stolen.
And $28 million later, somebody else owns it.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
Wow.
Okay. Let's move on. Hey, everybody loves a good reboot, RGT. Don't you? I'm sure you're a big fan of all your favorite things being ruined.
Not really.
Okay. Not us either. Did you think that we need a reboot of Meet the Parents? I guess not a reboot, but a continuation of Meet the Parents with Meet the Parents 4, featuring Robert De Niro, Ben Stiller, and the other folks.
It's because Robert De Niro needs more money after his lawsuit with his ex-wife. He's like, I'm poor.
I like the first two, and Ben Stiller is like a diehard Knicks fan, so like I'll ride or die for Ben Stiller. But no, we do not need that.
The third one was kind of shit.
Yeah, like that's how it was. Like I heard that it was pretty shitty. Like it was funny. Like the first one was hilarious. The second one kind of was wearing a little bit thin, but it still had. I mean, Gaylord Fokker. Like, come on,
right.
that's always gonna be funny. But like, what are you gonna do that's new with it? Like I don't know.
What do you think that I don't think they would make Gaylord Fokker a name in 2024 if it wasn't already established. Maybe they changed his name. Like he's like, well, it was problematic. So
I took my wife's name.
Right. Oh my God. All right, let's go to a video game movie crossover. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is coming out. Did you see the first two Sonic movies?
Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought they were fine. They're fun little movies that, they're well put together for the most part, and everyone does a decent job in their role. And they're not offensive. Yeah,
I thought they were pretty fun. Jim Carrey, I think, is a really good Robotnik. He really seems like he gives it his all, and it's that physical comedy that we grew up watching Jim Carrey doing, which I think I really appreciate. But the third one is coming out, and I'll tell you what, the marketing for this, this got passed around yesterday. Have you seen the parody movie posters that they put together for Sonic 3?
I saw the Home Alone one.
Okay, we're gonna show them off as you see the the Die Hard, obviously, which is just spectacular that they're putting these out. And we'll rate these. Blabs, I'll let you rate some of these. I know this one. I know this movie poster, but I don't know this movie poster. So what movie is this one? What is this one?
Oh, that one's the funny one with Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn, hence why he's so tall. And he's the other one, and Reese is standing on presents. But yeah, it's a Christmas movie. It's called like Four Christmases, I think it is. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Came out like a decade or two ago.
Looks familiar. And then, of course, we have the Home Alone one as well, which pretty genius. I mean, the fact that they got everybody to do these and make these faces and stuff is, well, I guess I say
Great
everybody.
marketing.
Yeah, and when I say everybody, I mean Jim Carrey.
They had to talk Sonic into doing it. He wasn't
Right.
too sure if he wanted to do it.
And this one may be my favorite one, the Christmas Vacation knockoff.
That's a good one. I didn't see that one.
Which is great. Here's the original one right here from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I mean, just awesome marketing here. I definitely intend on seeing this. I know my daughters they saw the first two and they're all on board with Sonic 3. They know it's coming out. So we'll probably make our way to the movie theater and check it out. But awesome marketing right there. Do you have a favorite of those, RGT?
I still like the Home Alone one. Although I will say the Christmas Vacation one is pretty good too.
Pretty good stuff. I think mine is the Christmas Vacation for sure. Blabs, you have a favorite?
I really like the Vince Vaughn one, like Four Christmases, and the Home Alone was pretty good.
You like the Four Christmas one, Vince Vaughn? Of course you would. Wasn't that like a rom-com?
Yeah, but it's funny because it's actually got like a lot of cameos of different actors in it too. Like, what's his face's name? He started like the MCU. He played as Happy in Marvel. Jon Favreau, I think his name is. Yeah, like he cameos in there as like this like thug. So like it's funny. It's actually a funny movie.
Well, Sonic 3 coming out here in just a few days, like 5 days. So next Friday. So yeah, a week from today. All right, let's move on. Did you hear about the new YouTube feature, RGT, that's coming out?
No.
Oh, look at this. This is a big one. YouTube launches what's calling a game-changing language feature that automatically dubs videos.
Oh.
So this one could be big for your channel, man.
Yeah.
You could hit the whole Hindi market, and you could have a whole group of Indian fans that would love to become RGT 85 Nintendo fanboys. Be great.
Hey, there's well, first off, I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber. Second off, those if you ever like just go down like a rabbit hole of like Bollywood or Hindi related channels, like some of the views on those things are absolutely insane, and you're just like, who is watching this? And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
India.
Yep. India is a huge market. And I know that Mr. Beast kind of got ahead of the game on this, and it says Mr. Beast is by far the biggest creator that does this and went viral back in 2022 after teaming up with a giant anime voice actor to dub one of his videos in Japanese. But he also does it in several other languages. And this will actually remove the dubbing aspect of it. And YouTube will auto dub here. And this is done. It says the initial launch focuses on creators who make videos focused on, quote, knowledge and information. So, hey, you're knowledgeable and have information. So you may need to check. If you have the feature, YouTube will automatically detect the language of your video when you upload it and create dub versions in other languages. If you want to watch your dub videos, they'll be available in the languages section on YouTube Studio, which I checked today. We do not have this feature. But
this is actually a great feature though, because like I know someone who lives in Japan and he always has to put subtitles for his videos because he has a bit of a thick accent. He wants people who don't really understand Japanese to understand what he's saying. He has to do everything in English. This is so much faster for him because he said he works on videos for like 2 hours just putting subtitles in.
I am kind of worried about accuracy though.
That's true.
You
see a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, like because obviously this is not a human that's doing it; it's an AI. Because they didn't mention how it was actually being done. But yeah, kind of interesting. If it will like authenticity wise. Like, I guess you would have to potentially watch a video, copy the subtitles, and then put it into whatever translator you like to use, and then see like how accurate it actually is.
And of course, there's like slang and other words that you know, like. This goes back to a conversation. You remember there's a story last week about Riot Games, Blabs, that we talked about where they were, if you had a game that was
open, even if it was minimized, and you said you were just talking on voice chat over Twitter, you would still get banned.
Yeah. And the idea of if you said something that was offensive, then they could potentially ban you from their game.
And
right?
they're like, go play something else. We don't want you as customers. So it's just a really smart thing to say.
I haven't told you this, but I actually reached out to their head of PR and actually
didn't they leave you on hold or something?
They got back to me. And we had a really good back and forth about this. I'll talk about that tomorrow. But the big sticking point of that conversation was, if you get banned, it's based off of what culture, right? Because you have people playing those games from all sorts of cultures. And is the culture that of somebody that lives in Los Angeles, California, like where they're making these decisions? Or is it based off somebody who lives in, France or pick whatever region of the world you want? Cultures are different, right? And terminology is different, and something that may be offensive to somebody here may not be. Anyways, I could see that happening in this instance with YouTube and the auto translation, where you say something that just doesn't necessarily make sense in other cultures, and people are like, I have no idea what they're talking about. So anyways, so there's that. And RGT, do me a favor, let me know when you get that feature, because you are a channel that has information on it.
Yeah, I'll check it out and see if it's any good.
Yeah. Another YouTube story. Do you have YouTube TV by chance?
I don't. I still have cable because I need to watch the Knicks.
Oh, do they not offer Knicks programming on YouTube TV, or is it not?
It would be blacked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the little side note, the Mavericks, they've had all these issues with the local regional sports broadcasters down here. So they launched what's called Mavs TV, and you have to pay for Mavs TV. But they gave their season ticket holders a free NBA League Pass this year, as well as free access to Mavs TV. So that's the only way to really watch Mavs games down here in Dallas. So
that's crazy.
It is silly. Anyways, if you do own YouTube TV, or if you have it, we got it several years ago when it was like $49 a month. It was like, whoa, cable's like $200 a month. What are we doing here? Well, it's not that anymore, as YouTube is increasing its price to $83 a month, up $10. And as it says, roughly double from what it was in 2019.
Cut the cord. It's going to fix all our problems. But
right.
You need this service to watch this movie and this service to watch this show.
Yep. Cut the cord, except, until it costs the same as having the cord.
Yeah.
Which just out of curiosity, what is cable up there in the Northeast?
So mine is bundled with my internet, and I have pretty good internet, and it's like $210-ish.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Curious, chat. What about you guys? Well, how much is your internet and cable bill on a month-to-month basis? Well, maybe you can have a little bit extra money as we move to this next story. Do you play Fortnite or any Epic games?
I've dabbled in Fortnite, but I haven't touched it recently.
Have you spent any money on Fortnite ever?
No.
Okay. Well, then I guess you would not be eligible for this.
Damn it.
As Epic Games is currently paying out $72 million in refunds to players who were tricked into making unwanted purchases. This happened a little bit ago. I'd say probably about a year ago. There was a lot of hubbub around Epic Games and kind of the malicious practices they had when you log in and you buy something without actually knowing that you bought something through their store. It's like a one-click instantaneous. You lost your $9.99 for a John Wick skin or whatever it was. And now the Federal Trade Commission has come out and they're throwing down money. So at $72 million, which is about a day's worth of revenue for Epic Games. So everybody works for free on Thursday, apparently, for Epic Games. So, Blabs, have you ever bought any skins or anything or season pass?
No, I would never. Especially not Fortnite. I haven't touched Fortnite in over 2 years.
Okay. All right. Blabs, I'm going to let you lead us through this next story with Humble Bundle. What's going on with this, and
All
why should we
right.
care about this?
So, for everyone who wants to know what Humble Bumble is in the first place, it's like they sell games, ebooks, softwares, and other digital content, just for TLDR. So what happened was they had accidentally listed the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for free.
Ooh.
And so a whole bunch of people got it, the Steam key, started playing it. And because they realized their mistake, Steam removed all the people's who had it. They removed it completely from the Steam library. So even if you opened it and you already accessed the game and you started playing, scrubbed, gone. So you no longer have it. So that's terrible because one, it's like, okay, so you don't actually own anything that you technically buy on Steam because remember, it was already added to their Steam libraries. And this is just like a horrible consumer L because you don't own anything that you buy. Even if it was free, you still got it. So the error here lies with Humble Bumble, and they should be paying for the whatever ramifications it was, not the people who bought the game and are the gamers here. It's a shit situation because it was a mistake, but all right, deal with it. Not remove it from people's libraries. That's not cool.
Now, RGT, I know you're a fan of indie, the new indie game, yeah?
So good, dude. It's so good.
What do you think about this situation? The idea, if
first off, how did nobody at Humble Bundle realize this?
Huge oversight.
Where did you get access to those keys to distribute to people?
Mm-hmm. I think it was an accident. It must have been because they were supposed to be listing them for a specific price, but they listed it accidentally as free. So that's where the error is. But it's like, how did no one see that, right? So crazy.
Yeah. Wow. I agree with you, Blabs. I think that Humble Bundle should be on the hook for the revenue for those games. If you accidentally hand it out, boom. If 100 people got it, you're paying $100 for each one. That falls on Humble Bundle, which, by the way, is owned by IGN. Just for the record.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
And Ziff Davis. Yeah, they acquired them several years ago. But the idea of revoking all those keys, okay. It says... Humble Bundle now has revoked all the keys, releasing a statement saying that due to a mistake in the provided pricing for the game was incorrectly marked as free, in a move that understandably, but also reminds us of the ethereal nature of digital ownership. Humble not only deactivated the Steam keys in which it was given, but revoked the game even after it had already been activated in Steam's players' libraries. That's crazy. Can you imagine you're in the middle of playing through this great adventure and just right in the middle of it's you no longer have access. You have been revoked access to this game.
I'd be pissed.
Oh my God.
That's why I have Game Pass though. So I just got it on Game Pass. I almost, that game is actually very interesting to me because I know there was a lot of controversy around the reviews and how, the embargo went up when the game went live. If you bought early access for it. So a lot of people, and rightfully so to some degree, thought, oh, well, the game's not going to be very good then, because why would they do this? But I think that was such a faux pas by Microsoft, because as scummy as it is to say, if reviews would have came out a week earlier and, been generally positive and, you could at least, even if you don't trust the review process, you could at the very least watch a review on mute and see the gameplay footage to see if it's something you're interested in. I think Microsoft and Xbox left money on the table because I wasn't going to upgrade it, right then and there because the reviews were good. But if the reviews came out a week earlier and it's well, I can play this game a couple days early, okay, sure, $30, whatever. That was such a bizarre decision to me. And I get it. Sometimes there are games that you see that when the review embargo is so close to the release, it raises eyebrows, but that was just a dumb decision by them, dude. Ridiculous.
I think it's a bad look when you hold your reviews up until when the game is released, which I think led to a lot of, given what we've seen over the last year or so, we've seen with these games that people have grown weary of video games from an entertainment standpoint, and there's this idea that they want to know what they're getting into. And when you don't have somebody telling you, hey, this game is good or it's bad beforehand, and you hold those reviews, it's not a good look. And we've all seen that. So yeah, I'm with you. That game is a unique case where all the talk about it leading up to it was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. And then it's released and people are like, it's good. And people are like, it's good? That doesn't make any sense at all based off of everything leading up to it. The marketing on it wasn't spectacular. But I'll say this, the game hasn't performed very well, at least from a Steam perspective. And I realize it's on Game Pass and we don't have the Game Pass numbers. But we did see that the game has like less than 15, at its peak, had less than 15,000 players over on Steam, which I would say for an IP like Indie Jones is lower than I would expect, which brings us to another point in the conversation of like, and you and I grew up on Indiana Jones. For me, The Last Crusade is like the best of the Indiana Jones. I love Indiana Jones. And everybody has their favorite of the original trilogy, and like the last two are people just kind of forget about. But there's this thought that was thrown out about like the Indy Jones IP being not nearly as valuable as people think it is. When I saw an Indiana Jones game was coming out, I was like, oh, cool. But when Blab saw it, she was like, who's Indiana Jones?
Right.
in so many terms, right? Well,
What do you mean?
I meant in so many. I meant you as a metaphor, Blabs, the 28-year-old. So
How dare you? I am cultured with my man Indy. Thank you very
yes,
much.
so cultured, so cultured.
Well, I think the last movie obviously didn't help things. People are definitely leery of Disney stuff. You just had Star Wars Outlaws come out, which was not a good game at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just was not good. And so, there was definitely hesitancy towards, it's like if Disney does a new show, a lot of people are like, why are you doing that?
Right.
But, occasionally a blind squirrel gets a nut. And like, I think Indiana Jones, it's probably the best thing I've played this year.
Really?
My hierarchy was actually Batman Arkham Shadow VR was my game of the year because I'm kind of a Batman fan, but I thought it was very well done and it actually felt different than, a lot of the other things I played this year. And then before that was Astrobot, which, Astrobot is great, but at the end of the day, it's a 3D platformer. It is what it is. But a lot of the games this year, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I know people love that game, and a lot of it comes from the nostalgia of Final Fantasy VII, but I think that game just has so much padding in it. Like, once I got to the beach and I needed bathing suits, but I couldn't buy bathing suits. I had to do side missions to acquire bathing suits, but I could go in that same town and buy a sword. I was like, what are we doing here?
Right.
And I get it. You got to elongate things because it's just a portion. But yeah, I think Indiana Jones is great. Nolan North sounds exactly like Harrison Ford. I think what makes it great to me is after playing something like Star Wars Outlaws that did not feel anything like a Star Wars game, this feels like an Indiana Jones game. Like there's the dry humor, there's the locations, there's the music play, dun, 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 using your whip and stuff like that. It's super, super enjoyable. And there's actually quite a lot to do in the game too. I was amazed at the amount of side quests that you have in certain areas in it. And I think once you beat the game, you can actually go back and redo those. And I'll probably do them because I've been thoroughly enjoying it.
Nice. Well, currently right now over on Steam, the game has just under 8,000 people playing it. Like I said, Steam is not the primary platform for this. We talked about that at length. It's definitely a Game Pass game, which goes back to another conversation of like, how are they making money off this game? If you only have, 13,000 people, playing this game over on Steam, and it's available on Game Pass. I don't know the economics of do you know anything about the economics of Game Pass? Like how developers and publishers are paid out with that?
So, did I say the wrong name for the voice of Indy? I'm sorry if I did. I said, who did I say? Nolan North?
People make mistakes. It's okay.
Whatever. Well, to be fair, when I first heard it, I thought it was Harrison Ford. I was like, how did they get into there? And
right.
I don't follow that kind of stuff like that. So Game Pass.
Troy Baker, by the way.
Troy Baker. My mistake. So Game Pass, the way Game Pass works, at least on some level, is Microsoft will actually, like, if you're I don't really know the first party perspective of it, but from the third party perspective, they essentially are like, we want this game on Game Pass. We will give you this amount of money. Take it or leave it. And like,
Okay.
that's kind of how it works. But with a game like Indiana Jones, like, you're right. I think that's probably why it's releasing on PS5 in spring of 2025, because, you know, going back to the Disney thing, that's expensive. You know, a Disney property is very expensive. You saw it with how much money Ubisoft is losing from Outlaws, and they're trying to salvage the game by, oh, now you don't have to do stealth. It's like, bro, that was a core mechanic of the game that you completely 180 shifted on. Like, that is crazy. But you know, so they got to make up that money somewhere. And it's honestly been an age-long question with Xbox without having game sales, really, because, you know, even if you look at a third-party game, the Xbox consumer, for the most part, has been trained to not buy anything. You know, yes, there are exceptions to the rule, but most of them just lean into Game Pass. And you see it. Look at a third-party game that comes out on all three platforms. What is always the smallest sales portion?
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's Xbox.
I can confirm that. We have an insider who works for a big box retailer that has over 900 stores. And every time they send me information, it's broken down by PlayStation versus Xbox, and PlayStation is 4x the amount of Xbox games, for sure. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I think I'm glad that game's going good. It's a damn shame that people can't play it now because of Humble Bundle's mistake. So crazy. Got a couple super chats here. Kratos came in, says, with the 10, says, Humble has no power to revoke the keys on Steam. Only the developer can do that on the Steam admin console, which, by the way, Kratos is a game dev. The developer would have to provide them to Humble as well. Yes, that's 100% correct.
But my point still stands that Steam just takes away shit even if you own it. And so basically the point is you will own nothing but be happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Norm says, just got here. I wanted to ask, when does voting open for the Real Game Awards? And how and where will I be able to vote? You'll be able to vote on the website. It'll be opening up at 6:30 p.m. Central tonight. Oddly enough, that's exactly when Jeff Keighley's award show opens up, and when we'll be doing our award show watch party tonight. Once again, with Flash will be joining us, Kirsch will be joining us, as well as a few other folks. So it'll be great. So make sure you guys tune into that, and that's when you can begin voting over at therealgameawards.com. Angela, thank you very much for gifting the membership to the channel. Membership. Right, Blabs?
That's right, memberships.
Okay, if you guys got gifted a membership, make sure you say thanks to Angela and consider paying it forward. Tunish, man, I butcher your name so bad, I fuck it up. Tunishi says, with American prizes, aren't the prizes taxable income? Yes, that's true. So if you choose $200,000 plus outfit versus $100,000, the liquid prize is easier to pay off to the IRS. That's true, but the value of said prize, like the Squid Game outfit, is really whatever the person handing out that prize is. They say the value of this is $50,000, and you still have to pay taxes on that, because when you win a car on The Price is Right or whatever, you still have to pay taxes on all that, so including the money that you make. So see that all the time. Good stuff. Red Bandana Gamer says, finally, look who's back. Took you long enough. There he is. Thanks. Appreciate that, brother. Jason says, I had a McRib for lunch and made sure to get it with no onions or pickles. It's so much better without them.
No, I used to think that way. I used to be that way. But then I had it one time. They had everything on there, and I was like, well, let me try it. And it was just glorious.
Just tried it out. One little bite, and you change your life, huh?
Yes.
I've never had a McRib. Don't have any desire to have a McRib.
I'm telling you, it's life changing. Just the smell of it, the taste. Oh man, now I kind of want one, but my stomach's been acting up the past couple days. That's why I'm drinking friggin' water.
Mr. Michael gifted a membership to the channel. That's wonderful. Thank you for that. It's great. Chaos Smash came in and says Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth story is a complete mess.
Especially if you're a fan of the first game, because it definitely does take creative liberties with it. And I'll be very interested to see how they wrap all this up with the third game, because they're gonna have to do some crazy shit to make that work.
Commodore fan says requirements to run indie on PC are too damn high.
That's true. That's true. There was a whole big thing about that, which is really weird, all things considered, because I mean, you can play it on an Xbox Series S. So why is there not a, somewhat optimized version for the PC? It almost makes you wonder if that was the afterthought in this situation. Like, obviously they knew they were doing a PC version because Xbox games always come out on PC, but it seems like that probably wasn't as high of a priority, because it kind of is more of a console style game. But then again, it's like the Chronicles of Riddick game that everyone loved back in the day. So I don't know.
Right. Snake Master wants some clarification from you. It says RGT, to clarify the analog 3D, it line doubles like the Super NT, so you get really sharp pixels. Got an HDMI modded N64, might not be a huge upgrade.
So where did you see that it does line doubling? Because technically you could just buy a line doubling cable from who's that dude that makes the Rad 2X, and I do have an HDMI modded N64 that I recently got that I absolutely love. But if it's just doing line doubling and that's how they're saying they're getting a 4K image and not showing a picture of gameplay, that kind of makes sense to me. Like, I'm still gonna buy it, obviously. I've already pre-ordered the thing, but if it's just line doubling,
Brother, ew.
Yeah.
What's that, brother?
Yeah, like Medallion said in the chat, it better do more than that. Like, because if that's the case, just buy one of the HDMI modded N64s from China for $200 and call it a day.
It's the way to go. China has all the answers. They always do.
Hey, if it wasn't for China, retro gaming would be in the shitter, because they have no copyright laws. So they make these hard drives, they make these handhelds, all the ROMs are on there. They don't give a fuck. And thank you, China. Thank you.
Hey, we appreciate you, Chairman Mao. China. Kevin came in and says, I tune in every day, and this is the first time the show did not show up on my feed. I had to look you up in the search bar. The YouTube gods are doing something, doing some shady stuff. All right, well, you guys do us a favor. Obviously, if you're new, subscribe. But if you're already subscribed, hit the thumbs up button. Like YouTube, when you interact with the show, they know you interact with the show. So that's why giving the episode a thumbs up is important. Not only does it say, YouTube says, hey, they like this, but it also pushes out to more people. So that thumbs up, I know people, makes you like and subscribe, but that like is actually really, really important. And it's a big part of the YouTube algorithm. They like to see that you are engaged on the show. So if you don't want that to happen, like Kevin happened right there, make sure you hit the thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. Gear says, refund the Fortnite loopers after their cheapest naughty shot that is locking economic features in Rocket League, another game from Epic. Thanks, Gear. Appreciate that. Commodore fan says T-Mog 5G. I don't know what that is. Does T-Mobile 5G? $50. Yeah. YouTube TV $82.99. Yikes! It's a lot of money going out right there. And Commodore fan followed up, says Indie on PC requires an NVIDIA ray racing and 32 gigabytes of RAM. Jesus Louise. Yeah, that seems a little excessive. A little excessive for sure. Impause wants to know, says, did you guys ever look into MK2 Remix? It's a Mugen game that is the most excellent update on the OG Mortal Kombat 2. You ever heard of that before?
There's a YouTube channel that, like, all this man does is just play Mortal, like, he's really good at it, but he plays all these different versions of Mortal Kombat. It's like Daryl Sung 06, I think is his channel, and I'm pretty sure he's played that on there. I've actually been kind of interested in they've been doing these more arcade accurate versions of like Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2 for like Sega Genesis and stuff like that, like different sprites, like proper sprites, because in the Genesis version, Scorpion and Sub-Zero have the same idle stance, when in actuality it actually should be different, where Sub-Zero's arm is like down, which was an oversight in the original game. But I'm not super familiar with that one, but he has done a bunch of Mugen stuff on there, and Like that whole scene is just crazy. Like the amount of stuff that people do with it is nuts.
I'm in love with those games, and just some quick gameplay of it. Here's this guy. Yeah, you got your buddy right here. Here we go. It's Daryl Sung 06.
So, there you go. Yeah, this dude. It's all this dude. Every day he comes up with another Mortal Kombat video, and I'm like, dude, you are freaking crazy.
But look at this. Like, what a great lineup of characters. It's got all the classic ones in. It's got a damage meter. It's got, all the fatalities plus more. All the old school levels associated with it. I mean, this is some good. Now, if you could learn how to capture the gameplay, that'd be even better.
Oh no, that's I watched one of his live streams. He was like, people always ask me why I just screen record because I want the old school YouTube feel. And I'm like, all right,
there you go.
Hey, as long as you got a reason for it, we're good.
Okay, cool. I love it. You can see the updated to the old school Mortal Kombat 1 level. It's some good stuff, man. It's a Mortal Kombat 2 Remix Fatality compilation. Let's just go to the end because I always like seeing what we got here. They always save the best for last, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Nice. Anyways, okay. I could go down that rabbit hole all day long, but I'm not going to. Blabs, please read this off because I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you. Craig, you didn't hear what Kevin said. Side Scrollers is no longer showing up in my feed or live shows on the sidebar. Longtime subscriber. I like every video. You are being shadow banned.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well,
I don't think we are. I think it might just be a glitch, like if it's just one person.
No.
I see. I pulled up my YouTube. I see you.
Lean into it. We're fucking shadow banned. Damn it.
There you go.
YouTube!
Our channel is under attack.
Yep.
Hey, that's why it's super important. Once again, we have sidescrollerspodcast.com that's set up through locals. You can have a free account over there, and we send out an alert every single day when the show goes live. So you'll definitely get notified there. It goes directly to your email, so you can always watch it over there. And once again, if you want to become a paid supporter over there, we greatly appreciate that. All right, let's keep moving on. We still have a lot to hit on. We do see every single one of your super chats, rumble rants, and direct donations, and we'll read every single one of them as we go along. So thank you for that. But let's get to this story here. You excited for GTA 6?
Yes.
Okay. Just because it's Grand Theft Auto, or just because?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Well, it's been delayed multiple times, and now the peak of video game journalism, Jason Schreier of, I believe, Forbes, was on Kind of Funny the other day. And did you see the bomb that he dropped with this?
Maybe.
Okay, let's see what he had to say with Tim Geddes over here.
When do you think GTA 6 releases?
Anything I say is going to be aggregated on Reddit.
So don't say that again. I'm not trying to get
but
you.
I will
here.
say no. I'll answer your question. I would be shocked if it actually made it next year. I think that it will probably slip again because Rockstar Games always slip. Red Dead 2. I'll never forget. I was in Warsaw, Poland, sitting in the offices of CD Projekt Red, talking to them for my first book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, in I believe it was October of 2016. I was in there, and I'll never forget the Red Dead 2 trailer hit, or they announced the screenshots or something. They announced some Red Dead 2 Redemption thing, and they were coming fall 2017 is what they said at the time. And I remember turning to the CD Projekt people and being like, I hope you guys aren't planning Cyberpunk for fall 2017. And they were like, no, don't worry. Cyberpunk would, of course, come out 3 years after that. Red Dead 2 would slip to spring 2018 and then fall 2018. And that was 6 years ago. Games are even more complicated, even more moving pieces now, slipping even further now. So I wouldn't be shocked if it slips to 2026. I would be shocked if it doesn't slip to 2026. Gotcha. I'd be shocked if it actually hits fall 2025. But as of right now, Take-Two is saying that they're on track. We'll see if that's still the case in a few months.
Thoughts on that? 2026, still over a year away from GTA 6.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought that was confirmed already.
Well, they said fall of 2025, which, all you got to do is one of those wall of texts tweets where you're like, due to unforeseen circumstances and optimization stuff, we're decided to push the game back a little bit. I actually have a funny story about Jason Schreier. So he had blocked me on Twitter years ago, and John was like, Spawnwave was like, "Oh, I got a fun guest coming on the show." I was like, "Who?" He was like, "Jason Schreier." I was like, he was like, "This should be fun." I was like, "Yeah, it'll be fun." And so, I was on decent behavior for the show. The chat wasn't a huge fan of him or whatever. And somebody ended up super chatting like, "Why'd you block RGT on Twitter?" And he was like, "Oh, I blocked you." And I was like, "Yeah, it happens." And he went into this whole thing. He was like, "Well, let me see why I blocked you. I'm gonna see." So like he goes into this whole thing. He's like looking. He's like, "No, that wasn't a very nice tweet." And I was like, "Yeah, but I mean, it was kind of true, and I don't think I said anything wrong there." And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna unblock you, but make sure you're on your best behavior." I was like, "Yeah, no promises, pal." Like that was it. Like it was very funny. But no, I think Jason is pretty accurate in saying that. I expect it to be a 2026 game, and love him or hate him, a lot of people hate him. He does have a decent ear to the ground. He definitely does hear things like that. So credit where it's due.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that he does have, he has been mostly accurate with his stuff, and with all this stuff, that's something to keep in mind. Is very rarely do people bat 100%. They're not going to hit everything, and sometimes you got singles, sometimes you got homers. But I'll say this: I'm not super concerned about being blocked by Jason Schreier, because I am blocked because he's no longer on X anymore, and you can follow him over on Blue Sky. So he is. As are most of video game journalists these days. They have the mass exodus off X. But yeah, I agree. I think, not that I agree, but I would not be surprised if the game gets pushed to 2026, which...
I mean, it's a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be probably one of the biggest games that we've ever seen. I think there's always going to be, you never know one little line of code could completely screw up a bunch of stuff. So I wouldn't be super surprised. I hope it comes out in 2025. I think it would be good for gaming. To have a big pillar like that finally return, since people have been playing GTA 5 for nearly a decade now, but you might have to wait a little longer.
Over a decade. Because I'm looking right here. GTA 6 has been in development since 2014.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And that just kind of shows you problems with the video game industry. You literally had 3 brand new GTA games on the PlayStation 2, not including the PSP ports that also came to the PlayStation 2 with Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories. So technically you had 5 PS2 GTA games. And now we've just gotten to this point where everything takes forever and we got to have, crazy graphics and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I think we were good during the PS3 360 era. I think that style of graphics was great, and it still holds up well, especially if you do just a little bit of upscaling, to 1080p or 4K or something like that, smooth out that frame rate. And I think that's, that was the last creative peak for video games, because you didn't have these overinflated budgets. You had quicker turnaround time. And you had companies that could take risks. You can't take risks anymore. You can't.
Think about this. So between GTA 4 and GTA 5, there was a 5-year window. It was the GTA 4 was released in 2008, GTA 5 in 2013. I'm looking at this courtesy of visualcapitalist.com, and I always like to play the Price is Right game on the channel. So production cost for GTA 4 in 2008 was $100 million. Revenue for GTA 4, $2 billion.
It was only $100 million?
That's what it says, yeah.
Because Shenmue on the Dreamcast was $100 million, and that's what kind of hurt Sega.
Right.
But I'm surprised that they got out for that sort of price. But hey, that's pretty damn good.
All right, GTA 5 production cost $265 million. Now, once again, this is 2013. This is a 5-year production cycle. In between there, okay. Revenue for GTA 5. What do you think we're looking at here? Total revenue for Grand Theft Auto 5 and its life cycle, with holy shit, 185 million copies have been sold of GTA 5.
Are they including the online stuff too?
I don't know. I'm just looking strictly at this chart.
We got to be in the billions, right?
For revenue,
10 billion,
$7.7 billion. And I think that's actually undershooting it personally. So production cost, and this is where things get fucking crazy. Production cost for GTA 6, according to this, $2 billion.
God damn.
Of production cost. What? Does that make any sense at all?
Well, I mean, you've got these higher end systems. You have to assume that it won't be day and date, but they're also doing a PC version of it as well. I don't know. That seems very high, but at the same time,
just one year?
No. This is for the entire
Total.
development.
I was gonna say, because it says 2025, but they mean like the release. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like that's actually accurate. If you look how much money it costs to make these games, like Suicide Squad and all that stuff, I think it's true. I wouldn't doubt it.
Sorry, Archie, go ahead and continue what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, is it accurate? Maybe, maybe not. But I wouldn't be shocked if that was closer to reality than people, because you have to essentially, this game is probably being built from the ground up. Like, as far as, physics are concerned, because even if you look at GTA 4 to GTA 5, that's a completely different physics engine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say what you will about Rockstar, and there's a lot of stuff to say, but I don't think they half-ass a lot of things, so I don't know. That's a crazy. I mean, that's just a crazy number to see, though.
What's even crazier is GTA 5 available on all platforms, but Steam is probably the primary source that people play GTA on. GTA 5 currently, right now, the game over a decade after its release has 125,000 people in game right now. That's
goddamn.
Like, holy shit. They're owning it, man, and they have been. Which, when you look at a production cost of $2 billion, but you're like, well, the game's going to make $20 billion. You're like, oh, all right. How long? What do you think the time frame is on GTA make it? Let's just say hypothetically it is $2 billion. How long does it take GTA to make that $2 billion back?
Is GTA Online for 6 also? I mean, because I don't know. You're still going to have people playing GTA 5 and doing, like Chat is saying, the role plays. Also, Chat, Grove Street Games handled the GTA Definitive Edition trilogy. What ended up happening? Rockstar got rid of them, and then they shadow dropped a patch that fixed like all the issues, new lighting, new control mechanisms, and stuff like that. So yes, it was kind of half-assed, but that the onus kind of falls with Grove Street on that, I feel, and Rockstar was probably a bit blindsided by it. But I would say they probably start making a profit if you get the microtransactions going and stuff like that. Man, a year or two.
Oh man, I think it's sooner than that. I bet it's within a month. I bet I really do feel that way. Now, if you recall, there was a, what you'll see with GTA is you'll see that huge spike, right? And then it'll trickle down and it'll level off, right? But that huge spike will be $1 billion, right? I remember hearing several years ago when Call of Duty was at its peak that over the course of the first weekend, and I heard this directly from Activision PR, that it took 3 days, the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, for Call of Duty to make $1 billion. It was going to be the biggest entertainment launch in history. And I think that GTA 6 smashes the shit out of that when it's launched. Now, you're right. The online component will be big because if you recall, when GTA 5 launched, the online component wasn't there. It took a couple months, I believe, for it to be popped up. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be, if it hasn't made $2 billion in a year, I think it'll probably be closer to $4 or $5 billion in a year. And then from there, it'll along, but yikes. I can't even fathom that type of money, that type of production cost. And where's that money going? Like, legitimately, where is that money going on I understand you've had a 10-year production cycle. That's a $200 million. It's $200 million annually for a decade working on this game. And everybody's, in theory, working on the exact same stuff. I mean, it's so bizarre to me. That's almost $1 million a day. That's like $600,000 a day. Jesus, that's golly.
It's almost too much money. What do you do with it exactly? But I guess you invest it in the business and in future technology, stuff like that. Even though the future of video games is kind of up in the air as far as consoles are concerned, and what is the distribution going to look like in 5 to 10 years? So.
Right. And that's the other fascinating thing about the development of something that's been over a decade is you think about how much the world has changed in a decade. So I guarantee the original story has been scrapped and written 3 times, right? Because of various things that have happened. We've had, by the time GTA 6 will have been released, we'll have seen 3 different administrations, I guess technically 2, but 3 different presidential elections happen since the original development. That's insane to me and crazy. But all right, let's get to some of your support here. It's all Doug in Games. The GTA 6 budget breakdown: software development $800 million, music licensing $1.2 billion. Right?
Wasn't there a story about how they approached some band, kind of like an unknown band, and offered them like really low money, and the band was like, no.
Yes, yeah, I think that was right. And if I recall, I think that they regretted it because
because your song would have been. I mean, think of how many people have discovered various music artists by playing Grand Theft Auto. I mean, hell, back when I was a kid, playing the games, I would hear, songs that I wasn't familiar with, and I'm like, oh, who the hell is this? This is kind of good.
Mark Reality says, no, you're being shadow banned. It doesn't show up on my sidebar either. I had to do a name search to pull you up today. All right, you guys, make sure YouTube censoring us. They're shadowing. We're too hot for YouTube right now. So you guys, once again, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you have the notification bell turned on, the whole thing, so you get notified. And YouTube says, hey, these guys aren't that bad. Phantom came in and says, hey, Craig, longtime fan. I'm a huge supporter of your Real Video Game Awards. I've even talked about it on my channel to help get the word out as much as possible. Well, Phantom, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And we're going to be doing a watch along of Jeff's show tonight. But when our show airs in January, you guys can watch it on your channel or whatever. There's no licensing deal with that. So we want everybody to watch it. It's an agnostic program. Go crazy. Thank you very much for the shout out right there. Chaos Smash says all the testosterone is gone from his voice, talking about Schreier. Yeah. Suna Soltover says Jason has selective hearing, so I always take a grain of salt on quote unquote his take. He might have some truth. It's always for the benefit of himself. Thank you, Suna. Tom says Rockstar made 3 GTA games on PlayStation 2. Better times. Vampire Slayer came in and says, RGT, great to see you on here. We all know one Schreier is your bestie, like Spawnwave. Can't wait to discuss and roast on Game and Talk. Say hi to Celia for me. Thanks, Vampire.
Appreciate it, Vampire Slayer. He's a good dude. He comes around podcasts that we do occasionally because schedules have been extremely messed up lately.
When do you guys go?
Usually Wednesday nights at 9:30 Eastern, but last week both the girls were busy, and then this week both the girls were getting ready to actually go to the Game Awards tonight. So we're like, all right, we'll do it next week. Maybe we'll have something to talk. I mean, it's only like a Nintendo related show, and there's really nothing much to talk about with Nintendo right now, so it's okay. You got
an entire Switch thing going on. Like you got Switch news, Switch 2 coming.
I mean, yes, but it's like how many times can you really talk about it? Without. And plus, Celia works. She's the marketing director of Yacht Club Games, so she can't really talk on those topics. So she's just kind of sitting there, just in her own little world. Like, oh, I can't say anything. So.
I met the Yacht Club guys several decades ago. It feels like E3s ago, before Shovel Knight came out. And Shovel Knight is such a fun game. Oh, yeah. What a great IP, man. That they just created from the ground up. It's great stuff. Rod says GTA 6 may be the biggest game when it comes, but as Endymion had mentioned in one of his videos, it's pure DEI workers because those who made GTA great are out of Rockstar, so don't get too hyped about it. B-Chain followed up, says 2,403 days passed between Skyrim release and the ES6 trailer at E3 2018. Wednesday, January 8th, 2025 is 2,404 days since the ES6 trailer, but I'm not counting salty or anything. B-Chain, just chill out. I'm sure every day he's marking on a calendar, just slowly with a red marker. Thanks, B-Chain. Appreciate that. John says, hey, you should have that Bill Clinton kid to make a cameo on the Real Game Awards. I just think it'd be really funny. Yeah, it would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? All right, let's move on. Let's talk about some video game journalism and a little bit of controversy in the space here over the last. It's been ongoing throughout 2024, and it involves SmashJT, who's been on the show several times. And I'll say this about Smash: he has gone through kind of a transformation, I would say, and I think, and I'm just gonna say this about you. I feel like I've seen a little bit of this from you as well, where you've kind of like. I'm going to use the term woken up, but you've kind of seen the insanity taking place more and more in the video game space. And I feel like that's a more recent occurrence for you. And by recent, I mean in the last, 6 months, 8 months, year, or whatever. Whereas Smash was kind of the same way. I don't know. First off, is that something that you feel has happened to you as well over the last year or so?
I think there was just more instances of it being like prevalent, because I actually have a video from like 2018 where I talk about IGN and Kotaku, being somewhat problematic for the gaming space, and really how platforms like that don't necessarily like YouTubers, and there's no real respect for YouTubers because it's cutting in on their profit margins. Mm-hmm. Because, you have people that are independent, creators that can kind of do whatever. But I think there's definitely been more questionable instances that have been gaining steam this year than in any really year past. Like this year, I would say had more kind of like, moments than like the past 5 years did combined.
Yeah. And I agree. It's been more in your face for sure. And I was on a Colin Moriarty show yesterday, which will be released today and tomorrow. I think tomorrow on YouTube, today on their Patreon. And we talked about this at length, actually, the idea that one thing, it's been very obvious to me, there's this great divide between the developers and the people who cover those games, your traditional access media, and then like YouTubers, right? And we see this all the time with statements that are made by developers. We talked about one yesterday where the developer, like he's the lead, the head over at for the new Rivals game, the Marvel Rivals, mm-hmm. And he was like, you just don't know how well your game is going to succeed until it comes out. And it's like, no, I mean, we've been able to point to many, many games throughout the year and say, well, that one's going to work, that one's not going to work. And it's almost like they don't have a pulse of what's happening by the customer who is out there, who has to spend their money to buy their game. And they're just kind of like, lobbing chances out there. Like, well, I hope it works. I hope our multi-million-dollar investment works. And my thought is like, if you're investing hundreds of millions of dollars, in the case of GTA 6, billions of dollars into game development, you better be fucking sure your game's going to work and it's going to sell. Like, right. It doesn't make any sense. But in addition to the developer side, we've also seen this divide between Kotaku, Polygon, your Jason Schreiers, your traditional access media, and YouTubers. Mm-hmm. And the pushback that we've seen this Gamergate 2 happen throughout the year. And two of the main focal points of this have been SmashJT and Alyssa Mercante, who was formerly at Kotaku. And a couple of months ago, Mercante came out and said she was going to sue several YouTubers for speaking about her. And it turns out it looks like it was just one. And that person is SmashJT. And yesterday, that lawsuit was filed and put out publicly. And This was her tweet over here talking about, how's the lawsuit? Where's the lawsuit? This is Smash kind of asking her about it. And she said it's going great. And then she listed it publicly online so you can go through and find it. Now, there's a little bit of a hubbub about this. This is public information, and SmashJT's address is on that, which there's the argument that that could be considered doxing, but it is public information. It is public information. Is it okay to do that? I mean, it is public, but the thing about her lawsuit is that it redacts her address in it, but it puts his in there, right? So it's kind of like one of those where like, okay, fuckface, you want to play dirty? All right, let's play dirty. And as pointed out here in this my Smash says my address is listed on this document, and she posted publicly, and now is dox me and my family, putting us in danger. Also, interesting how she feels unsafe posting her own address in a legal document, but didn't have a problem including mine in sharing the document publicly to her legion of followers who actively hate me. And you can see right here, listed here, the plaintiff Alyssa Mercante, is a resident of state of New York and County of Kings. Alyssa Mercante's address is redacted herein due to threats made against her on the basis of the lawsuit. But such information will be revealed in the court in camera. I don't really know what that means, but she may be served with any process throughout her counsel of record identified below. So, and he says it's definitely a calculated move. Let's go and start there, right? Let's talk about the divide between YouTubers and, and your traditional access media. This, for me, this is a very important case. Like, I was talking to Blabs about this before, and she's like, this just seems like people squabbling. And I think this is a much bigger issue. But I'll get to my thoughts in a second. RGT, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's a lot to unpack with this, obviously. As far as, we'll start with the split and then kind of go into the other stuff. As far as the split is concerned, I think it's been there for a while, because if you look, places like Kotaku, IGN, Polygon, all the standard websites, they've always done stuff with articles on bigger YouTubers, this, that, or the other, trying to stir up situations. But once again, I think it's more pronounced now than it's been, in the past 5 to 10 years, because I almost feel like, you're starting to see, for better or worse, you're almost starting to see a rise of personalities again in writing, because for a long time, there were no personalities in writing. But now these people are starting to create their own personalities. And, I don't think that some of them realize kind of what that actually entails. When you're just writing stuff, it's a little bit different than being on camera every single day. You have to, they're two different worlds. You have to have a personality. You have to have an angle on something. You have to have a reason to sort of be on camera. Whereas if you're a writer, it's more anonymous. Now, as far as this whole situation is concerned between these two, I have known SmashJT probably longer than most YouTubers. I first met him, Jesus Christ, 2017. And we had, this is when he was just doing mostly gaming content, and he did a video with myself and somebody else because he had some interesting information. And Smash, we've had our ups and downs. We've we're cool now. He'll hit me up sometimes or whatever, and I'm fine with him. But we've definitely had ups and downs. There was a time where he was attacking me for my content and said, well, who wants to watch this bullshit? And it became like this, whole sort of thing. So I kind of, I think both individuals just went at each other's throats, and I'm surprised that a lawsuit came from this sort of situation, because I don't know how well it's going to hold up, because really, if you look at it, it's a he said, she said situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, Smash said this about me, but Alyssa said this about me. Like, you're not exactly an innocent angel in all of this. Like there's lots of things, and Smash, I believe, has a lawyer already and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how this does play out. But at the same time, it's like you wanted to be the villain, and now that you became the villain, you got mad that people, you know, started talking about you as far as Alyssa was concerned. Like,
Right.
if I were to go after every single person who said, I want to kill you, you're a piece of shit, makes videos about me, calls me a meth head, even though I guess I'm a meth head who just likes to sleep a lot. Like, if anything, in my party days, I was a downer person. Give me the downers, please, so I can fall asleep. Like, that would consume all of my time. You know, you can't and it works kind of on both sides by playing into it, and by paying so much attention to it, it kind of spurns the other person on. And when you look at, you know, Smash's content, he's obviously, and this is a conversation that I've had with him before, where I've told him, like, you know, if you find a lane, you know, ride that lane. If you want to, you know, have YouTube be a good source of income for you or something like that, you got to ride the lane. And I think he's been doing that. You know, obviously his content is vastly different than it was like a year ago or something like that. But, you know, it's almost like, I think they both, deep down inside, I think they both like the attention to some degree, you know, because it gives you something to talk about. It keeps your name out there. It makes you the story. You're not a side character in the story. You are the story. And now we're seeing kind of one person's reaction to getting all of this attention, and it happens to be a lawsuit. To me, it's like, if I'm in an active lawsuit, I'm not talking about that shit online.
Right.
But,
there's been a lot that's been discovered just based off this lawsuit being filed. Well, let me kind of give you my thoughts on
Sure.
this and why I think this is actually much more important than kind of a couple people squabbling at each other. This is a situation that could set, and I feel like this precedent has been set already, but in the event that a YouTuber or whoever, right, anybody is critical of anybody else online, the resolution could be a lawsuit. So it could set a very dangerous precedent. She's asking for $75,000 in this situation. Right. She's like, hey, he's made $75,000, and how does she know that? She doesn't know, right? But
she's Social Blade.
Right.
Look.
We know confirmed that she herself has said she doesn't have any money, right? She's broke, and she's looking for the arbitrary number of $75,000, right? But what this does, if she was to be successful for suing Smash, which for the record, I don't think that she will be. I think this is going to blow up in her face. But if she was to be successful in this situation, it could set a horrible precedent in saying that, let's say we are talking about a developer or somebody in the media, right? We're talking about Jason Schreier. We're talking about GTA 6. They don't like what we're saying. They say, well, hey, that's defamatory towards our product, towards me, towards my outlet. We're going to sue you because of that, which that's the precedent that could be set in this situation.
Criticism becomes classified as hate speech.
Bingo. And that's very, very dangerous. So this is something that, like I said, I think this is going to be rejected half court. But the fact that she's going through with this is amazing. And I do think that the end goal for this, and I DM'd this to Smash and I put this publicly, I think that he should countersue. And then I think he should sue Kotaku. Because he's been labeled, we've been labeled, istphobe, bigot, whatever, right?
Oh, she's gone after me.
Of course.
I've seen people would send me the tweets, and I'm like, okay.
It's dangerous for sure. But the one thing that we found out about this was she said, this was posted November 7th, that she had left her job. She had left her job at Kotaku, and this was like the big deal. And we remember there was layoffs this day too, where they let go of a couple people. And she said, "Work news: after 2 years, I've decided to leave Kotaku as my role of senior editor. I'm eternally grateful of Kotaku's editorial team. Blah 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 blah. Some of the best moments of my career. It's been a long few months. I learned a lot about myself. This is the right decision for me. Okay, so she framed it as I'm the one who left, and this decision was made before the layoffs, but now I'm even more glad I made it. Well, that, according to her own lawsuit, is not the case, as ultimately based on the actions of SmashJT, multiple persons contacted Geo Media to complain about anti-Semitism from Mercante for appearing with Hassan Piker. Under pressure from Geo Media in the wake of this harassment campaign, Mercante agreed to resign her position at Kotaku. And this is them talking about SmashJT talking about her streaming and her support of Piker, which led to people accusing Mercante of anti-Semitism.
But wouldn't that be Destiny's fault?
Well, I
promoted
don't know.
the commentary by streamer Destiny. Like, no disrespect to Smash, but I think Destiny is a little bigger. You know, that's a bigger fish. And
yeah.
you know, they're not the only one. That Asmongold guy did the same thing.
Right. But this line here, 211, directly flies in the face of 151. 211 says, as a direct and proximate result of SmashJT's unlawful harassment, Alyssa Mercante lost her job and had her contract bought out by her now former employer. That's a lot different than what's said right here of her resigning her position. Those two are vastly different things. You can't resign and also get bought out and also lose your job. So, you know, lies, and more lies.
It'll be interesting to see how all those things hold up.
Right.
Because I don't know, maybe she thinks it's a surefire case, but I sure as hell don't.
I don't think so either. Just to dig a little bit further into this, Smash posted this. We talked about her lawyers, and says Alyssa Mercante's lawyer is this guy, and this was something that he posted. It says the lawyer involved with Pokemon Halo series claims anti-woke gamers. Says his job was to purge them. Trust and safety departments exist to get assholes out of the gaming environment. That's the lawyer. This is what they do. And this is back from March of this year. So,
do they win anything?
No.
They take that retainer fee money. They're like, thank you.
Right. And Legal Mindset, who's been on the show before, says, I understand advocating for a client, but this is clearly meritless and purely meant to punish someone she perceives as an ideological opponent. Unfortunately, activist lawyers are legion, speaking as a lawyer himself. There was also something that was interesting in response to Smash talking about their lawyer. This post right here from American Nerd says, we need to fix this. The legacy media control isn't just breaching trust in the political and human rights sections of journalism. It has a stranglehold on American culture and the video games industry. You don't have to go far, but IGN and Kotaku to see this is true. They are marginalizing conservatives, aka anti-woke content creators, for a long time. Look at Asmongold, Dr. Disrespect, SmashJT, Grums, all of them are consistently being attacked for their viewpoint because it doesn't align with the quote woke narrative. We need this fixed, and we need to protect and support other conservative commentators. Said, I'm not even conservative. That's the craziest thing about this is which is amazing. I know Grums isn't. I don't know about Dr. Disrespect, and I just by watching Asmongold, I don't think he is either. But
well, Dr. Disrespect was pro BLM, so we know for sure he's not conservative.
Right. Says we shouldn't feel ashamed to express our voices, and that's the big thing. Like nobody should be ashamed to express their voices, and we should do this without retaliation. Anyways, and Dr. Disrespect actually responded to that, just saying, "Yep." So, like I said, I think this is a much bigger issue than just an activist that used to work in the gaming space going after a YouTuber because they said things that they don't like about it. I think this is a very, very dangerous, slippery slope. That we're getting on right here. So, but do you have anything to close on that before we go to this last little bit?
I mean, I guess, obviously you don't want the lawsuit to be successful because, that opens a Pandora's box to, what's deemed as criticism and what's not. Like I think a lot of journalists, they're not used to very vocal criticism. If you're a YouTuber, if you got your start in YouTube, or you kind of blew up on YouTube, you kind of get used to the criticism. You get used to people on Reddit saying you're a piece of shit, this, that, or the other. I feel like that whole world has always been kind of immune to criticism. And now that it's happening, they don't know how to react. And
I think you nailed it.
And this is why, they constantly engage with these with people that are critics of them, and how this whole thing sort of spirals out of control.
Man, I think you really hit it. You had people who have been immune to criticism or just been living in a bubble, and for the first time they're receiving criticism. And it always goes back to that fucking trophy generation or the toxic positivity, the idea that,
oh God, yeah.
It's all, hey, you're the best. You're so good at everything. Just want to let you know. Oh,
I mean, that's why we're seeing issues with the game industry. I mean, Concord literally failed, according to these same journalists, because of the toxic positivity culture within the company. Like people, I think, and this might not be a popular thing for some of the viewers in the chat or whatever, but I think toxic positivity and toxic negativity are two sides of the same coin, and they're both shit. Like you have to be nuanced with things. You have to look at things on a case by case basis. And when you don't, and you just get into these toxic positive or toxic negative mindsets, like it kills any sort of nuance. And then people who want to be nuanced feel like, oh, well, I don't, who's listening to me, because of how, social media plays out and these bubbles that end up getting created and stuff like that.
Right. Awesome takes. Great stuff. Let's go. We're going to take a small step to our right here, because this is related to it.
The right wing, Craig.
Oh,
the
yeah,
right
sorry.
wing, conservative.
We're gonna take a giant right step all the way to. We're gonna pivot here, RGT, to this other story, because this is kind of related here. We've seen layoffs for multiple outlets. Talked about Humble earlier. They lost a bunch of people. They fired some folks. GameIndustry.biz, IGN, all have fired many people because the revenue isn't there. You're talking about legacy media. And this is from Daniel Bloodworth, formerly of Game Trailers. I've known Daniel for a long time. Says, talking about this just being a bad situation. But the thing I really wanted to talk about was Danny O'Dwyer and his tweet about this. His game journalism is like fewer than 40 people now. Magazines are basically gone and websites are closed behind them. None of this is a surprise to me, but it's incredibly sad. We had something awesome for a while there. Younger generations have no idea what they missed out on. I thought this was interesting because I actually think game journalism is considerably smaller than 40 people. I think we really have like 3 game journalists, and everybody else just copies and pastes what they see online. First off, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, the sphere has definitely shrunk, and it's definitely a friends club. And as far as actual journalism is concerned, and I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I'm a journalist, that I break news or anything like that. A lot of times it's just my thoughts on news that has been previously broken. Yeah, like it's definitely a very small, shrinking sphere, and that's why a lot of these people band together. Like when I was pissing off people like Kotaku and stuff like that, it was all the same people that were dogging me, that were talking shit about me. People I don't even know, people I've never had an interaction with. And like, it kind of was like a situation. People that I was cool with, and I'm still cool with them. If you
Right.
disagree with me on something, I don't give a fuck. Like it means absolutely nothing to me. I'm going to go about my day. You should probably go about your day too, because at the end of the day, we're talking about fucking video games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there are bigger issues in the world, but I'm still going to share my opinion on it, whether it aligns with you or not. But it's definitely a very small sphere. And when you look at things like the people for the Game Awards, who are the ones that are, nominating and voting on these things, the 90% of the vote, it's the same fucking people. It's the same fucking people. And when a journalist loses their job, what happens? They go to another one of these companies, the same fucking companies. And it's just like, there is this sort of, bond that these people have because they're kind of, the last of a dying breed.
You are 100% right. We've said this before. It's one big club, and if you're not in it, you're out of it. And it's very hard to get into it. Danny continued here, talking about Patreons for known personalities can only get us so far. YouTube is harder to get into than ever, and streaming is having its own reckoning. My hope is that there's a revolution around the corner, but we could be going the way of the music industry, consolidated, killed, and salted to earth. 100% that's what's happening. You're literally seeing it in real time, consolidated, killed, and just moved on, right? Now, this tweet then got put out, and he threw out pinning it on progressivism is self-serving bullshit. I think that's him kind of grandstanding on this. But you see the response here. This guy says, missed out on. You mean when gaming journalism turned on the readers around 15 years ago and actively started bashing them? The state of games journalism is where it's at because you and your peers. And I think that, I don't think it's been 15 years, but I do think there has been a drastic change. And we talked about that earlier in the show. Almost this contempt for the customer, the contempt, this holier than thou attitude of the people who are writing about these games. Because hey, I'm in the club. Fuck you. This is what I do, and you're just a feeble, whatever truck driver. You just play the games. I get to write about them. Yeah. Have you ever been invited to like game events before, like previews and stuff?
Some. Very, very rarely, and I don't get shit from Nintendo. I don't get shit from Microsoft. I don't get shit from Sony because the Sony European marketing guy hates me, and he tried to come after me because he's friends with Alyssa. So no, a lot of things I don't get invited to, but like that's okay for me because like even if I was, I honestly don't want to see those people. Like I don't want to be near you. Like I don't want your strange juju to rub off on me. And to be fair, there are journalists that I like. There are journalists I get along with. Gene Park, I love Gene. Gene's a homie. Gene's a real one because Gene, no matter what I do or what I say or my opinion on something, even if he disagrees with me and his opinion is completely different, that doesn't change that we're still friends. That doesn't change that we're still cool with each other. That doesn't change that, if somebody goes after Gene, I will be standing there like, yo, fuck you. Like, that's my boy. Don't mess with him. So, you start to realize that there's not many people like that if you go against the grain, if you go against the different mindset, I mean, for Christ's sakes, when Forbes is writing an article on Star Wars Outlaws with the preview events, and that's something I'm going to mention in just a second, and telling you how all these previewers said that the game was fucking great and you're all wrong, and then the game comes out and it's a piece of shit, there is some sort of weird mentality there with that. The need to even say that is very weird to me. But you have to look at preview events in and of itself. With preview events, I asked Spawnwave this because there was a game that was coming out that had a preview event, and he was like, "Oh, previews are looking good." I was like, "John, I have a question for you." He was like, "What?" And I was like, "When was the last time that there was a preview event for a big AAA game where there's negative stuff that came out from it?" Right. And he sat there and he was like, "I can't think of one." I was like, "If anyone could think of one, it would be you. And you can't think of one." So maybe some of these people are just gassing this shit up because they don't want to lose any sort of connections.
Right. You don't go to preview events to be like, well, that really sucked. Like you very rarely do you see that. The response to this obviously has been, he's been kind of thrown to the wolves with this because it is a really poor take. And I'll get to more of that in a little bit because I know what you're going through right now. Just know you did it to yourself. And I feel like that's pretty good. Now, this person here, Alexander Bobaukis, I'm not familiar with who he is. Freelance gaming writer. Ah, yes. They. There we go. It's such this is, I think, is an interesting statement. It's such an odd dichotomy that gaming only continues to grow year after year, and yet the media space it encapsulates is imploding. It makes me feel like we're clinging on to that to a sinking ship. I think Alexander is so close, but he's so fucking wrong here, because I don't think the media space is imploding. I actually think it's exploding, because there are so many other options. RGT, Spawn Wave, side scrollers, go down the list. It's not the traditional written version of it is imploding, but it's just pivoting and it's exploding, because now you have more options than ever to consume gaming content from people that you trust. It's like, I don't go to Kotaku because of a reader. You eventually, or because of a writer. Like back in the day.
Back in the day, you might have, though, because there was personalities.
Right. You get to know those personalities, right? You go to the brand before you go to the writer. Eventually, you get to know the writer, and you get to know their writing style. It's actually the opposite on YouTube, where now you go to the channel because of the personality, not because of the brand, right? And that's something that I think this person is clearly clueless on when it comes to this. And it's a totally wrong way to think about the idea of this imploding. And then we got this last one from Matthew says, that sounds good, actually. None of these people reflect the average gamer. Nearly all of them are shills. I wish the entire quote-unquote industry would be replaced by live plays. Let's see the game, the story, the play. If it's good, but that removes your value, then your quote-unquote game should have been a movie. If the game was actually good, people want to play it themselves. If none of the above, you shouldn't have made it. And this goes back to the idea that, you can consume information so much quicker, better, and easier than it is just reading a thousand word article about a game. People would rather watch a live stream or look at a trailer or whatever.
Well, I mean, fuck, when the reviews go out, do people read the reviews, or do they just scroll down and look at the score, or they go to Metacritic and look at the score? That's why I don't score shit. You have to watch my entire video to know my thoughts on it, know my problems. You're not getting any numerical stuff over on that my channel. No, sir. You should be able to figure out a numerical score that I would have given it if I gave it a score. But, I think it's just, it's shifting. The whole game's coverage is shifting, and people don't like it. It's kind of like when the internet came around and newspapers and magazines didn't like the internet. Oh, this will never last. It's like, no, you're rejecting change because you're a part of the older system. And a lot of these journalists, they can't make the jump over to YouTube. They think, a lot of them think that they build like a massive fan base, and some of them definitely build a fan base. Don't get me wrong. But they think that like doing YouTube is just, oh, well, I could do this, if this schmuck can do it. And it's like, it's kind of harder than that, man. It's harder to get noticed. Like when I first started my channel, I had this genius idea because I was with a Nintendo enthusiast. I was like, great, we got 50,000 subscribers on this channel. I'll make a video talking about how I have a new channel and everyone's going to come over. I got 500 subscribers from that. And I was like, fuck. I was like, well, I guess I got my work cut out for me. Like they don't understand like a lot of these things. And I almost think that like, I almost wonder a lot of their upbringings, how is this some sort of, are your viewpoints and your whole mindset being it's my way or the highway? Like, is this because you had a very sheltered life where you did not live amongst different types of people and different types of races and stuff like that, to where you feel like your voice is so much more important than somebody else's? Like, if somebody makes a video and they have one subscriber, I think their voice is just as important as mine. It's just more people are familiar with me, but everyone's pretty much the same here. There is no holier than thou. You're not fucking God with this sort of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hope you're not fucking God. No, but I hear what you're saying. I think there's definitely a humble pie when it comes to a lot of this. And going back to the Smash Alyssa story, I think that she has very quickly, when she left Kotaku, so did her relevance, right? And you see so many people who leave these outlets that you never hear from again.
Right.
And they learn very quickly that this game, this YouTube game that we're all playing, trying to make a living doing, it is hard. It is very hard, and you have to have a very specific set of skills to be successful doing so. And the fact that you've grown to over 500,000 subscribers, and Smash is seeing success, we're growing. It speaks to what they can't do more than anything else. It is very hard to do this. Now, obviously, when it's all relative, right? We're not out there, delivering, in delivery trucks or laying bricks, right? Like, hard is all relative, but it's a unique skill set that not everybody can do. And that's the thing we're seeing with all these journalists, is they're realizing, like, holy shit, I don't have many skills.
Yeah, it's a time consuming thing. That's what, when people ask me, oh, is it hard being a full-time YouTuber? I say, not in a traditional sense, because it's better than I have a great job, quote unquote. Like, this is awesome. This is fucking the tits. But it is time consuming. Like, depending on where you want to take it and what you want to do with it. Like, have I sacrificed things in my personal life for this? Sure, but I would never say, it's very hard, because there are people out there fucking fighting fires and shit like that. Like, that's a hard job. But yeah, it's very time consuming, and I think a lot of those people don't necessarily realize it. And even some YouTube people who are a part of a big channel and then go off and do their own thing, they face the same sort of situations, because they went. If you're going into an established brand, you are not the focus. The brand is the focus. And as much as you think you might represent that brand, similar to how I thought I represented Nintendo Enthusiast YouTube channel, when I started my own thing, I realized the brand is bigger than me. Like, I was, people liked me, but they didn't like me that much. So you kind of learn how that goes.
Well, I go back to, like, Screw Attack. We had multiple quote unquote casts, right? And they were kind of rotating parts along the way. We'd lose somebody, but we'd bring somebody in. But it was always about the whole, like, somebody complimenting somebody else. And even on this show, right? Blabs and I compliment each other pretty well. She's a little silent today, but that's okay, because we have a guest like you, who I know, we know can carry the load. No, it's okay. Blabs said before the show she'd be a little quiet today, but but it's good, because we have this rapport and people tune in for it. And as pointed out by Vampire Slayer, says Craig is right. I go to RGT's channel for him. I came to Side Scrollers for Craig, Blabs, and that crazy Foxu. Yeah, it's all about authenticity, right? And people can see right through that shit. And that's the thing when it comes to, and thank you for that very much. People can see right through it, because when you look at somebody, going back to Alyssa, right? There's nothing authentic about her. There's nothing authentic about these game journalists and such, and that's what they're struggling with. They're struggling with it having an identity outside of their pronouns or whatever. But that's another story for another day. All right, Matthew came in with the $4.99. Says early internet was personalities. If Matt and Mark created a YouTube channel when they left IGN, they would have been successful, right? I mean that was one of the. I mean, you had Dan Shu from EGM, who started was it 1up.com. Like, people went there because they're like, oh, it's the guy that I used to read all the time in EGM. Like, you got personalities with magazines, whether you realized it or not. You had your favorite people, especially with something like EGM, where you had 4 different people reviewing the game. Like, oh, I agree with Dan. Oh, I agree with Sushi X. Oh, I agree with John Riccardi, or whatever his name was. Like, there was that sort of sense of, of I like this person. They think like me. They like the same sort of things like me. So I trust this person. Right. But now you don't have it nearly as much, because journalism has just become this, like, revolving door of just people coming in. They're head of the company for a couple of months, and then they're on their way out. Scary Larry of GamePro. I love Scary Larry. Let's go. You mentioned Sushi X, and I was like, yeah, deep cut.
Yeah,
right
like
there. Let's go.
I mean, it was a different time though too. Like, that was when video games, for lack of a better term, I mean, it was more closed off. You know what I'm saying? It was something for teenagers. It was something for young adults. Your dad might play a game of Madden with you, but more than likely, if you interviewed 10 dads, you'd get maybe one who actually played video games outside of playing with their kids. Whereas nowadays, the landscape has completely changed, and for some parts better, for some parts not so much.
Yes, we didn't gatekeep. We didn't gatekeep enough. All right. Look, we have some super chats directly for you. I want to make sure that we get to these. John came in and says, "Hail RGT85. Sean, I've been subscribed to you since your channel's under 100K. Been a hell of a ride ever since. Keep it on strong, pal."
Thanks, pal.
Red Bandana Gaming says, "I get you a strike. RGT gets you shadow banned." That's right.
No, you got us a warning, Logan.
Well, we got striked, and we got, yeah, for sure.
Well, no, it was a warning, wasn't it?
It was a strike that became a warning.
Okay.
Yes.
Reduced sentence.
Nathan said, yes. Nathan says, YouTube videos replaced IGN a long time ago. Videos have always been better for presenting games than written articles ever were. 2024 is the last stand. I agree. Also, this is from earlier. Wampa Stompa says, Amanda Naked is her married name. Her maiden name is Amanda Hug and Kiss. I love it. Nice, good stuff.
That's a
I
dad
have
joke.
Did you see that they released a phone from The Simpsons that's like it looks just like Moe's phone from Moe's Tavern, and like you press a button and he'll do like one of the one-liners. "I'm looking for Amanda Hug and Kiss." I have it because I'm a fucking child, but it's so awesome. I love just walking by it and pressing a button and laughing.
Got it. So you own that?
Yeah, I own that. And they also made a talking Krusty doll from the I got that. And then the talking Krusty doll that has the evil and nice switch on it, like in that episode of Treehouse of Horror. And yeah, so you pull the drawstring and he says different things.
Brilliant.
That's what I spend my money on.
Fucking brilliant. I love it. Well, when you don't have kids, you can do that stuff. Delta came in with the 5, says, "Oh, hey, RGT, you're back. It's a yearly tradition. I'll tune into some channels that watch the show. E3 was fun for that. And I still check old VODs like two best friends covering Last Guardian finally showing. Keeley might give us Beyond Good and Evil too." Well, Keeley won't give you anything, just for the record. Like, he's just providing the outlet for that.
A lot of people are excited for tonight, though. I've seen a lot of optimism. It says big announcements coming. I'll scroll through my Twitter feed and see them. And,
right.
I'm good.
Kalichi came in and says, "RGT, love your work, man. I, too, will always be amazed at the level of enterprise Rockstar San Diego has been able to cram. Hold on. I, too, will always be amazed at the level of expertise Rockstar San Diego had to be able to cram Resident Evil 2 on an N64 cartridge. Did you guys hear Capcom just released Resident Evil 2 Remake on iOS and Mac?"
I did see that. Yeah, so Rockstar San Diego used to be called Angel Studios, and Capcom used them to bring over Resident Evil 2 from a 1.2 gigabyte fucking 2-disc game to a 64 megabyte N64 game. And they made a fucking great version of it too. It's probably my favorite of the originals.
It's amazing. Amazing, really, that they were able to pull that off. Christian Rocker has a small request for you. It says, "It's the Christmas season. Give D-Day Cobra a follow."
But see, it's almost like a meme at this point. It's like it's so good because it's right there, but, and I'm aware of it. But it's like maybe we'll see how I feel Christmas morning. We'll see what Santa brings me over at Grandma's house, and then I'll make my decision. You know what? If the Knicks win on Christmas Day, because the Knicks play the Spurs, if the Knicks win, I'll do the follow
for one day.
Yeah, for one day, just for Christmas Day.
Just so he's like, "Oh, it happened." Take a screenshot of it. All right, we do have some other super chats. We'll get to those in a second, but first we'll give RGT an opportunity to bounce because we've been going for a little bit longer than usual. But we appreciate your time, man. I do want to give you an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit more about your latest endeavor, the Art of N64 Wrestling Games, where people can pick that up on Amazon. So fire away.
Yep, it's available on Amazon. People really seem to like it. If you're wondering about the size, it's pretty much the size of the old strategy guides. A lot of people didn't understand the cover art and said that my cover art looks shitty, which is funny because it's literally a homage to WCW NWO Revenge's cover art. But yep, you can pick that up on Amazon. Hope I didn't talk too much. And if you agree with me, you're cool. If you disagree with me about anything I said on the show, hey, you're cool too, man. It's all good here.
That's really nice of you. That's really nice. All right, everyone head over to RGT's channel over on YouTube and help them blow closer to 600,000 subscribers. Yeah?
Once I hit 500, I was like, all right, I've peaked. You know, I'm never going to be one of those million subscriber channels probably. So everything after 500 is a bonus.
Hey, congratulations, man. Great stuff.
Somebody said Hulk Hogan looks like he's saying, pull my finger. Funny story. I actually sent a copy of the book to Hulk Hogan to be autographed, and I've been waiting for it to come back. And when it comes back, I'll be a very happy boy because I have a Hulk Hogan room in my house. It's really okay. So it's not when I bought this place, I was looking at it first and there's this closet and I opened the closet and it's literally like 6 by 6. Like it's a big ass closet. And like the lady that owned this place before me had like Buddha statues and shit in there. And I was like, what am I going to do with this room? And then one day I was like, I got a lot of Hulk Hogan shit. And now it's like plastered to the walls. I put a little TV and a little couch in there. There's like hundreds of Hogan figures and signed shit that I've bought and just all sorts. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Do you have a tour of this room on your
I
channel?
don't, but that might be a Christmas video because people have been asking for it.
Hell yes, it would be. That's what a Christmas miracle that would be. Just saying.
There's a lot of shit. I actually got some figures coming in today, according to FedEx, too.
Let's go. All right. Love it. All right. You guys head on over to the RGT85 YouTube channel. Join the 512,000 wonderful subscribers over there. Hit that subscribe button and help them continue to grow. Because, hey, who knows? Maybe that 1 million's in the future there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you popping in, man, and look forward to having you again in the future.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. See you later, Blabs. See you later,
Bye.
chat.
Thank you.
All right. There you go, Blabs. Let's get to some super chats. You guys have been great today. We appreciate you guys allowing us to have RGT on, and what a fun dude to talk to.
All right. So I don't know if StreamYards is messing with me or not, but did we got this one already, didn't we?
Yeah, let's start with Gear right here.
Okay, I knew it. Stupid StreamYards. Okay. Gear says, oh no, don't let that retard smash the heck out of JT. She should stop invading our fun escapism hobby. I hope the lawsuit was ineffective. Thank you so much. Champion says, hashtag off topic. Tangled sucks. Moana forever. That is a shit opinion, but thank you. Kyle Denson says, anyone see the Switch 2 image leaks?
No.
Which ones? I mean, there's so many different like potential leaks. B-Chain says, I love you, Jeff. Hideo Kojima.
Okay, thank you.
Gear says, I own PSP and DS. These were the golden times before some fools called smartphones showed up. Gear also says, quadruple A games, poofed. We have extra large anime games. Tom says, RGT can love Bloom even on a battlefield.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Missed that one. I apologize, but thank you.
Ha! Now you missed them. Epsilon Alma says, Craig and Blabs, don't let the Dorito Pope get ya.
We will not. I will not.
Kareem says, what are your worst games of the year?
It's not about what I think.
Well, I can tell you, since I played a couple of that came out this year, Quidditch Champions by far is the worst shit one. Marco Reality says, the SmashJT situation, anybody can sue a ham sandwich, and it's going to be fun to see Ron Coleman go after them. Are we going to be able to watch and stream the proceedings?
That's a good question. It depends on where it's going to be at, but I hope that's the case.
Like some Johnny Depp live stream. Market Reality says, got a male law ain't bad on the eyes. Yeah, too bad she's got nothing upstairs. Dark Forever says, journalists are threatened by YouTubers. Who watches The Watchmen? And Vice says, I think Rockstar was better when they were Game Track. I just bought an original sealed copy of Dark Colony, and it's one of my favorite childhood games my dad got me into. Nice. Did we catch everybody on Rumble?
We'll get to those in a second. Switzerland Play came in and says, Blabs, are your dear eyes pure deception? How bad are you inside?
What?
Okay. Delta says a good movie IP comparison would be that of Jurassic Park Evolution game and what the Steam numbers were there. Thank you, Delta. Kalichi says, anyone else notice that when talent leaves, budgets and development time for the game explode? Suicide Squad had a 9-year development cycle, and Arkham Knight had less than that. GTA 4 was released in 2008, GTA 5 in 2013, GTA 6 supposedly 2025. So that 9 to 10 year cycle. Yeah, you're 100% right. All right, over on Rumble, Marmalin says Amanda Naked built a built-in digital camo. How the hell do you find her in Google search? kind of want that last name Naked or porn now. Thank you, Marvelin. Appreciate your support. Just go with Naked. It's funnier. And Marco Reality says, isn't GTA 6 supposed to be woke? I'm sure there will certainly be some elements that are, whatever. Yes. And Disgusting says, can't wait for the Real Game Awards to outperform what Dorito King does. Like, we're a long way away from that, right? We do not have the establishment behind us, and that's the one thing that Jeff Keighley does. So do me a favor, head over to therealgameawards.com and become a member. Once again, voting opens up tonight at 6:30. We will be doing a live stream of Jeff's show. So head on over there. When voting opens up, we're going to have 4 categories available to vote on today, with more categories opening up over the next week. The 4 categories opening up today include FPS, Best Action Game, Husbando, and the Shitty Ass Game of the Year. We're opening that one up early, so make sure you guys go over there and become voting members. You can use promo code SIDESCROLLERS to get $5 off your voting membership and make it $25 annually. So appreciate your support. You guys are great. I look forward to seeing you guys very shortly when, once again, we're going to be doing a Jeff Keighley's award show watch party here on this channel. Kirsha will be joining us. Flash will be joining us, as well as some other friends along the way, Blabs.
Ding, 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 ding.
That'll be tonight around 6:30 Central, about 5 hours from now. With that said, guys, you guys could go check out Blabs' channel in the link below. You can check out RGT's as well. And, of course, we'll see me in just a little bit. You guys have a great rest of your day. And remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.